All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, Carol.
Gant, Davis,
Here.
Diamond, Vaughn, Lindsay, Smith, Nelson,
Here.
Leday,
Here.
McMillan.
All right, thank you, Carol. I'd like to ask everybody to please stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance. Mayor, do you mind leading us here this evening, sir?
Certainly. Let us pray, please. Dear God, thank you for loving us. Thank you for the opportunity to do the business of the city, protect our first responders, bless these men and women that are up here doing your job. In God's name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, we have some minutes here to look at. May 30th work session, June 12th work session, and June 12th regular session. Do we have any errors or changes to be noted? None? Okay, minutes stand approved as written. Do we have any city council report?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Since we last met, we've had a few things happen at City Council. We did approve a contract with GMC for for plans moving forward on the improvements in Integrity Park. Pretty significant there. The property we've discussed prior or before it, near the entrance of Cambron, we did move forward with zoning that, pre-zoning it as a B3 and annexing it into the city. We approved an employee contribution to the sick bank for our employees to be able to help one another out, which is a nice thing. We did approve some street repairs on General Canby, Southern Way, and Signal Hill. We made new appointments for the second year of the Junior City Council. So we approved engineering services to install an elevator in the library. And I think the last thing would be that drainage improvements on Patrician Drive. We're moving forward with that as well.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. All right, we have some new business.
If I could, let me just take this opportunity to, I mentioned it earlier, but for the ones that may have not been here, this coming Monday, immediately following the city council meeting, we'll have a reception in our honor of the 30-year anniversary of the city becoming a city. So we invite everybody to come if they can. But the city council meeting starts at 6. As soon as we get through, we'll have some cake and punch and cookies and stuff. So please come.
All right, thank you, Mayor. All right, we have some new business here. Agenda item 230701. This is application for minor subdivision plat. We'll have a public hearing on this agenda item. On any of our public hearings, if anybody wishes to speak, if you'd come up here to the table, Carol has a sign-in sheet. If you would print your name and address, we'll call on you, and you can come up here to the podium there and push the button on the microphone and state your name and address, and we'll be glad to hear from you. All right, this is 7 States Timberland, U.S. Highway 31/State Highway 59. The applicant is Smith, Clark, and Associates on behalf of 7 States Timberlands, LLC. Casey, your staff report, please, sir.
Mr. Chairman, this is a minor plat application, minor subdivision plat application. The subject parcel is located along Highway 59, approximately 2 miles south of the city of Bay Minette's corporate limits. This subdivision application proposes to subdivide the existing 130-acre parcel into 2 resulting lots, with the smaller parcel to the south being approximately 9.23 acres, and the remainder of the large lot to the north equaling 120.443 acres. The resulting lots will both retain frontage on State Highway 59 and will far exceed the minimum lot size for the current zoning. The parcel under consideration is currently included in the Highlands large-scale planned unit development and is zoned commercial within this PUD. Staff has reviewed the submitted information regarding this application and has found all required documentation to be accounted for and in compliance with all applicable ordinances and regulations. Therefore, staff recommends the Planning Commission approve agenda item 230701, application for minor subdivision plat approval for 7 States Timberlands Josh Pate subdivision.
All right, thank you, Casey. We'll open it up for discussion. Any discussion? All right, we'll have our public hearing. Anybody wish to speak? All right, public hearing's closed. Any discussion? All right, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve case number 230701.
We have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Carol, please.
Davis. Diamond.
Yes.
Vaughn. Lindsay. Smith.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Ledey. McMillan.
Yes.
All right, motion's approved. I will have agenda item 230702. This is an application for site plan. It's Papa John's C-Store Canopy Edition at 8148 Spanish Fort Boulevard. The applicant is Element 3 Engineering LLC on behalf of Arifant, Inc. Casey, your staff report, please, sir.
Mr. Chairman, this applicant is proposing to add an additional canopy with gasoline dispensing to the site to improve the flow of traffic and address current issues with traffic stacking on and off site. The improvements as submitted also include additional paved area with parking and a new curb cut on Marcella Avenue, which will shift the current entrance to the south. The site is proposed to be used in the same manner as it has been used as a convenience store with gasoline dispensing. The proposed site is intended to be accessed at 2 access points, as it is currently with one on U.S. Highway 31 and the other on Marcella Avenue. At this time, we don't have enough recommendation or enough information that has been submitted to us to be able to form a recommendation on this one. There's still a good bit of information missing. The applicant engineers are both aware of this, and they are working on this, but we haven't received any sort of correspondence or feedback from them at this point.
All right, do we have anybody here representing this agenda item? No? Okay. All right, I guess we'll have to postpone this due to insufficient information there, so. But you hadn't heard from him as far as him wanting to postpone it? And
No, I know we don't have anything in writing. I can't speak for the applicant, but I feel like that would be the route they would want to take. We just don't have enough information at this
Mr. Chairman,
David, we can postpone this.
Mr. Chairman, the
Is that
planning-
correct, due to insufficient?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. What I would suggest to do that you can do, the planning commission has the authority to postpone action on a site plan requirement, arguably with or without the applicant's approval or request. So in this circumstance, we know that they've been working for this a long time. I think you'd be well within your authority to postpone it. If it was a subdivision plat, those are required to be in writing before you postpone those. But I think you can do that in his absence for a site plan review.
All right, thank you, David. All right, well, we're going to postpone this agenda item to our next regular meeting. I will have agenda item 230703, application for site plan. This is Women's Health Center parking lot, 30505 Spanish Lane, and the applicant is Cowles, Murphy, Glover, and Associates on behalf of Pregnancy and Family Services, Inc. Casey, staff report, please, sir.
Mr. Chairman, this applicant is proposing to add additional parking to the existing site along with drainage improvements and landscaping as required to bring the site into compliance and account for the additional impervious surface being added. The site is proposed to be used in the same manner as it has been used as a medical clinic. The existing site is accessed at 2 points on Spanish Lane, and the proposed changes do not intend to change either entrance. The site plan has been submitted with additional parking over the current requirement in order to account for a future addition. The subject property is identified on the comprehensive plan's future land use map as medium density residential. The property is currently zoned B2 local business, and the existing / proposed use does conform to the current zoning district of B2 local business. And it has operated, to the best of my knowledge, as a local business use for the last 10 or 20 years probably. Because the site totals less than 1 acre, an ADEM NPDES stormwater permit should not be required for this site, although a land disturbance permit will still be required by the city. Staff has reviewed the submitted information as it relates to drainage/detention on site and is satisfied that the minimum requirements have been met with the most recent revision as submitted. Staff has reviewed the most recent version of the landscape plan for this project as submitted and is satisfied that the applicant has met the requirements of the current landscape and tree protection ordinance. While the applicant has met the minimum tree coverage requirements with a combination of preserved trees and new plantings, they have requested that the required frontage trees be allowed to be placed elsewhere on site due to the size and location of the existing 40-inch DBH oak tree that is proposed to be reserved on the frontage of the property. The applicant has indicated that due to the size and the location of this tree, its canopy could potentially overshadow the additional frontage trees, causing potential health/growth issues with the smaller trees. The use and square footage of the site requires a minimum of 7 parking spaces. The applicant's proposing to provide a total of 10 spaces, which does include 1 ADA compliant space, which exceeds the required minimum parking count in order to account for a planned future addition. Staff has reviewed all submitted information regarding this application and has found all required documentation to be accounted for and in compliance with all applicable ordinances and regulations. Therefore, staff recommends the Planning Commission approve agenda item 230703, application for site plan approval for Women's Health Center parking lot.
All right, thank you, Casey. All right, we'll open it up for discussion. All right, discussion's closed. David, I'm assuming if we have a motion on this, it's going to need to include a waiver from the landscape plan. They have all the required amount of trees. They just want to relocate them off the main highway. Is that correct?
That is correct. I would say that you would need to make that a part of the motion, that you grant a waiver of those requirements from the landscape ordinance.
Do we need 2 motions, or that can be all in one?
It can be done both ways. If there's concern about whether or not the waiver should be approved versus whether the site plan should be approved, then you can take them separately. For example, if you might approve the site plan but you don't want to approve the waiver, then you can take them separately. But if there's no concern about that, then you can just take them together.
All right, we're going to take it in 2 motions. And do I have a motion for a waiver from the landscape ordinance? Do I have a second?
And we need to make sure staff states what that waiver is so that it's clear on the record.
Repeat that, David.
I just would say I would make sure staff states what that is so that it's clear on the record what the waiver is.
He just wants staff to
Y'all-
say that the waiver would be to not require the frontage trees based on a hardship with trying to save a 40-inch DBD tree. And then
Correct. And state that you're approving the location of those trees as depicted, I guess, on the landscape plan that's been submitted.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call, Carol.
Davis,
Yes.
Diamond,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Lindsay, Smith,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Lede,
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
All right, motion's approved. All right, do we have a motion for the site plan?
Motion to approve case number 230703, site plan.
All right, do we have a second? Nancy? Roll call, Carol.
Davis, Diamond,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Lindsay, Smith,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Lede,
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
All right, motion's approved. All right, we have agenda item 230704, application for zoning change. We'll have a public hearing on this agenda item. This is from an R1 to a B2. It's lots 4 through 8, 10, and 11 at Woodside Business Park. The applicant is TerraCore Development Services, LLC, on behalf of GXM, LLC. Casey, your staff report, please, sir.
Mr. Chairman, this applicant's proposing to rezone the majority of the remaining lots in Woodside Business Park that was recently annexed into the corporate limits of the city of Spanish Fort as R1. The proposed use for the application has been given as commercial, which was the original intended use with the development of Woodside Business Park. The existing conditions within the vicinity of the subject property are typically local to general business type uses. Due to the existing uses in the surrounding area and the proposed use congruent with its original intention when it was developed, this application is expected to have little to no impact on the area. The subject property was not identified on the comprehensive plan's future land use map because this area was not located within the city limits at the time the comprehensive plan was created. And although the comprehensive plan cannot be referenced for this location, staff feels that this zoning change is in keeping with the original intent of the commercial development, as well as a number of zoning changes that have previously been approved within the business park on neighboring lots. Therefore, staff recommends the Planning Commission make a positive recommendation to the City Council regarding this application. Agenda item 230704, application for zoning change from R1 to B2 for lots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11 Woodside Business Park.
All right, thank you, Casey. We'll open it up for discussion. All right, discussion closed. Do I have a motion?
This is a public hearing.
Excuse me, I'm
Chairman,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, we're supposed to have a public
Yeah,
hearing.
public hearing.
Okay. All right, we'll open our public hearing. Anybody here wish to speak? All right, if you would come up and sign the sheet. All right, if you'd press the button on the microphone, please, sir, and state your name and address.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My name is Larry Markram, and I live at 32196 Wildflower Trail. And I'm just concerned with the change of zoning. Do you foresee something going into these lots at the time, or is this just a change?
So if you'd like, when that area was annexed into the city, all of the annexation was done as residential, R1. This business park has been there for 20 years or better. It is a business area, and they're trying to get everything correctly zoned to be a business zoning. So it's
Okay.
not going to change anything that's going on in there.
Okay.
It's just getting the proper zoning
Okay.
there.
Because I live directly behind that business area, and I was just
Right.
concerned with, now, is it true that there is, that area back there, there's also some property owned by the Army Corps of Engineers where there's a drainage reservoir there? Do you know if that's true? That was what I was told when I bought.
I've never heard that, but
The
Casey,
lot
have you
there.
seen that on a plat anywhere? Or?
I haven't seen anything on this development. There may be some around the Cambron area that may be something
Because
like
there's
that.
a big gorge in there for drainage is what I was told.
Where is it located, do you know?
It would be right at that corner, at that very lot where the cul-de-sac is.
Right here?
Yeah, right in that
Up here?
area.
Up at that area?
No, further down. No, a little bit to the left there, a little bit more. Right in that area is where I'm at.
That's
And
all
there's
common
a-
area, right? Yeah. That's where all the detention, where all the water flows from the area. That's
Okay.
what that is right there.
So my understanding that is going to be left alone. If there would be any building or any other kind of
Well, they were
rezoning.
required to have proper drainage and detention, yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
That's the common area, Casey, is that accurate?
Yes,
That's
that's
all
all
the-
common area for the Woodside Business Park Property Owners Association.
Okay. Right, right.
Any future plans to develop those will have to come back to this planning
Okay.
commission for approval, which we would review the drainage and everything at that
Okay.
point.
Yeah, that was my concern, because that's why I bought the lot, so I
Ah.
wouldn't have anybody behind me like that.
I'm saying,
Okay. And if I might ask, the new building that's going on there, what exactly is going on with that lot that's been cleared?
That's the parking lot for the new medical family clinic. It's just an additional parking for the clinic because it's fixing to be like an urgent care type situation.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? All right, public hearing's closed. Any discussion? All right, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we send a positive recommendation to City Council on agenda item 230704, application for zoning change from R1 to B2.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call, Carol, please.
Davis,
Yes.
Diamond, Vaughn,
Yes.
Lindsay, Smith,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Lede,
Yes.
McMillan.
yes.
All right, motion's approved. All right, we have agenda item 230705. This is an application for site plan amendment. This is Longleaf Recovery at 13920 Cypress Way. The applicant is Sane Associates on behalf of LIV Development. Casey, your staff report, please, sir.
Mr. Chairman, this applicant is proposing to amend the site plan as previously approved for Longleaf Recovery at 10,000 Town Center Avenue. The proposed changes to the original site plan are as follows. Removing all 16 parking spaces along the northern curb of the parking lot and removed one parking spot in the southeast corner. They are still meeting the minimum required parking. Removed all storm pipes and inlets running from the west of the building around the northern portion of the parking lot and into the pond. They replaced these with a drainage swell along the east and north portions of the site. They are removing the concrete flume on the east side of the building and replacing with a V-ditch. And they are removing building roof drains and allowing water to splash on grade. Staff has reviewed the submitted information regarding this application and has found all required documentation to be accounted for and in compliance with all applicable ordinances and regulations. Therefore, staff recommends the Planning Commission approve agenda item 230705, application for site plan amendment for Longleaf Recovery.
All right, thank you, Casey. All right, we'll open it up for discussion. All right, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve case number 230705, site plan amendment for Longleaf Recovery.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Davis,
Yes.
Diamond,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Lindsay, Smith,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Lede,
Yes.
McMillan.
Motion's approved. All right, we have public participation. Anybody here wish to speak? All right, we have a few announcements. The next regular meeting of the Planning Commission will be held Monday, August 14th, 2023. A work session will begin at 6 p.m. in the multipurpose room of the Spanish Fort Community Center, followed by the regular meeting at 6:30 p.m. The next informal work session of the Planning Commission will be held Monday, July 31st, 2023 at 6 p.m. The submission deadline for the August 2023 regular meeting agenda is Tuesday, July 11th, 2023 at 12 noon. Casey, I'd like you to take note to get on our next work session a discussion item about upscale tattoo parlors, as it was brought to us.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. Okay. Well, we had a gentleman come in that wants to open a tattoo parlor in Spanish Fort. And so we discussed, that was a discussion item at our work session. A regular. So we need to put that on as a discussion item for our next, we don't have it in our table of permitted uses, so we need to see about getting that in there. All right, any other discussion? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Meeting's adjourned.